Have you thought about what you're getting your mom for Mother's Day? At Cozy Earth, they have a full line of apparel, PJs, shirts, socks, you name it, they have it. And if you buy any of their bedding, they have a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty, free shipping on orders over $50 or more. And our listeners get an exclusive discount of 21% off just by using our code INFOGO at checkout. And you can do that at cozyearth.com. Find the link and the code in the show notes. If you're laying mulch, bedding animals, covering seeds, or just want your property looking right, there's one name you need to know. Irwin Farms, Middle Georgia's #1 wheat straw provider. When it comes to quality wheat straw, it matters. Clean, consistent, and ready to work because they don't cut corners, they bale it. Whether you're a homeowner, gardener, farmer, or you're just getting your hands dirty for the first time, they've got you covered. You can find a link in the show notes. Just Google Middle Georgia's #1 wheat straw provider. Either way, you'll find Irwin Farms. Welcome to the podcast. I'm William,
And I'm Kat.
and that makes this a dash of info.
Little things you want to know.
So, Kat, I'm sure, like most of our listeners, have looked at the title and went, Have you ever given that any thought?
I have not.
Yeah, so take a moment, look down at your shirt if you're wearing one or jacket, whatever. Go ahead and check the buttons. Did you ever notice which side they're on? Well, for men, they're usually on the right, and for women, they're usually on the left. You might be thinking, so what? It's just a shirt, a jacket. But this tiny detail actually carries hundreds of years of history, culture, and social norms. And today, Kat and I are going to uncover why something as small as buttons can tell a story about gender, power, and fashion.
I'm intrigued. So, to understand why buttons ended up on different sides, we have to go back, way back. In medieval Europe, clothing wasn't just something you bought off the rack, right? It was custom made. Every piece was carefully tailored, and clothing served multiple purposes: warmth, modesty, and of course, showing your social status. Here's the practical side. Most people are right handed, so for men, having buttons on the right made it easier to dress themselves. Now, if you're right handed, you can easily hold the button in your left hand and push it through the hole with your right. Simple, efficient, and practical.
Now, women, well, things were a little different. Upper class women often had servants to help them get dressed. Gowns could be elaborate, heavy, and layered with multiple pieces. Buttons on the left made it easier for the right-handed maid or servant to button up the lady as she was dressing her. So imagine this. In the 1700s, you're a wealthy woman. Your day starts with a maid carefully fastening dozens of buttons down the front of your gown. Meanwhile, a man in the same house can put on his coat in seconds, all by himself. That small design choice, left or right, was a reflection of social structure and daily life. Some gowns had so many buttons that women literally couldn't dress themselves. A servant was required. Sin button placement was all about making that process a little easier and faster.
Hmm.
Just a fun fact there.
I'm glad we don't have that many buttons these days.
I would,
Part of me likes to romanticize the idea of stays and corsets and all that good stuff because the aesthetic is so pretty, right? But no, I'm glad I don't have to tie myself into a death trap every day either.
most of the clothes they wore back then had to be hot
Oh, God, hot.
and
But
heavy.
to be fair, though, they are in England as well. The UK, we are talking about like medieval Europe, UK, stuff like that in Europe was a fairly different climate than it is here where we are.
Okay, fair enough.
But I could imagine that all the layers did get a bit stuffy.
Yeah, I'm thinking about South Georgia heat and, layers of clothes. I couldn't do it.
I think that's more like Victorian era. Still a lot of layers. Still a lot of corsets.
The 1700s.
Sweaty and hot is all I think about.
So you're
Anyway,
saying the 1700s was sweaty and hot?
yes, sweaty and hot. Th- I'm sure it was smelly too. But in any case, it's not just about practicality. There are other theories at play here. One idea is that clothing reinforced gender roles. Men's shirts on the right symbolized independence. They could dress themselves. Women's shirts on the left symbolized reliance. They were often dressed by someone else. Fashion has always been a kind of language, right? It communicates wealth, class, and yes, gender. These buttons these buttons were subtle signals telling the world, I am a man who can dress for myself, or I'm a woman of status who is dressed
Hmm.
by someone else.
By the 19th and early 20th centuries, the ready-to-wear clothing industry began standardizing button placement. Men's and women's buttons have become, well, codified, part of what we now consider normal. But the roots of these rules go back centuries to a time when who could dress themselves and who couldn't was tied to power and status. So picture it, a wealthy woman in a grand gown, a maid right by her side, buttoning her up. Meanwhile, her brother throws on a coat and buttons it himself, ready to take on the world. It's a small detail, but it really tells the story about society at the time.
All right, so fast forward to today. Most women dress themselves, and yet the tradition remains. Women's shirts and jackets still mostly button on the left. Men remain on the right. Of course, there are exceptions. Some countries don't follow this rule, and some fashion brands ignore it entirely. Good for them. Even baby clothes reflect this history. Many infant shirts button on the left so mothers who are often right handed can more easily dress their babies. And it's a tiny nod to the old ways, still influencing clothing design centuries later. And then there's fashion experimentation. Designers sometimes play with button placement purely for style, but even in these cases, the history lingers in our subconscious. We expect certain buttons to be on certain sides.
I think before we get into the science and psychology of it, so we should take a small break.
Sounds good.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Meet Savoristo. They have premium craft decaf and half calf coffee with bold, rich flavor. Made from high altitude, hand picked Arabica beans and naturally decaffeinated with water or sugarcane processes, and there's no harsh chemicals.
But if you think chocolate, caramel, citrus, even bourbon pecan and mint and mocha, it's small batch roasted, literally so good, customers call it the best decaf they've ever tried.
Better sleep, less anxiety, all the flavor. Use our code INFOGO to get 25% off at checkout at savorista.com. You can also find that link in the show notes. Hey, William, do you love craft beer?
Yes, I do. We
If you're
can,
looking for the perfect gift for a beer lover or just want to show off your brewery pride, the Harpoon Shop has something you won't find anywhere else.
and here's something special just for our listeners. You can save 25% off just by using our code INFOGO at checkout. You can find that link in the show notes. All right, so now that we're back, let's take a step back and look at this from a social psychology perspective. Right-handedness is dominant in our population. About 90% of people are right-handed. That dominance shaped tools, door handles, and yes, buttons. Clothing design subtly mirrors human handedness and the social expectations that grew from it. Buttons became more than fasteners. They were a tiny symbol of who we were supposed to be, independent or assisted, male or female, powerful or submissive. Something as simple as which side your button is on, well, it's a reflection of centuries of social norms. So the next time you button your shirt, remember, you're participating in a centuries old dance of culture, practicality, and fashion. A small action, but one loaded with history.
So today, the world of fashion is changing. Gender neutral clothing, minimalism, and functional design have blurred these traditional lines. I'm still waiting for girls to have functional pockets.
I'm
So,
waiting to have, maybe we do one on that little watch pocket. And why is it still there?
some shirts don't care whether you're male or female. The buttons can be wherever they want. Yet, tradition is hard to shake. Men's buttons are still on the right, women's are on the left. And that's okay. It's a quirky reminder of history that we carry into the modern world, a tiny detail connecting us to centuries of social norms, fashion trends, and even human habits.
The buttons on your shirt are small, but they tell a story of culture, society, and unfortunately, gender. Fashion is never just fashion, it's history, and we wear it every day.
So, even if you don't think every small detail in our daily lives has a story, it does, even the side your buttons fall on.
All right. I've always wondered why, and I kind of already knew before we did this, but anyway. And
Yeah.
zippers are the same way too, by the way.
What did you think about this one?
What did I think about this one?
Hmm.
I thought it was unique. I think everyday objects, like I've said multiple times, they have a story, they have a history. And it's unlocking that history is what, our show is all about.
Absolutely. If you would like to support this podcast, tell a friend and help get the word out.
If you would like to help us keep the show going, you can do so at Patreon. You can find that link in the show notes.
And as always, William and I want to thank you for listening.
Whether you've been with us from day one or just tuned in, we want to say thank you, the listener.
Right. You can also join the Facebook group at Info on the Go.
Over there, you can share with us your show ideas or just
At,
check it out.
yeah, you can also ask us questions.
But whatever you do, make sure you hit that follow button wherever you're listening to this podcast.
Yeah, and send us a text using the link in the show notes or leave a review.
Leaving that review really does help others find us. But if you would like to, you can email Kat and I directly at,
infoonthegopodcast@gmail.com.
and we do read those emails. Till next time.
Stay curious. William, I know how you love matcha tea with coconut milk.
Yeah, it's clean energy without a crash.
Then you'll love Mantra Matcha. They offer super premium ceremonial matcha and 6 superfood infused flavors made from the finest, youngest tea leaves for a naturally sweet, ultra smooth taste.
With each flavor, it's infused with powerful superfoods like cacao, ginger, and goji berries. And they also have those classic favorites like banana cacao, strawberry lemon, cinnamon goji berry, plus superfood berry, ginger beet, and rosehip dragon fruit. It's organic, non GMO, gluten free with 0 grams of sugar. You can enjoy it like me, or maybe hot or in a smoothie like Cat. Every purchase helps provide meals to kids through No Kid Hungry.
It's at mantramatcha.com. Get 15% off using our code INFOGO at checkout. Both links are in the show notes.
Hey, everybody, we want to tell you about strong coffee. Every morning it starts with a choice. You can settle for just coffee, or you can rise up with strong coffee. And it's the world's strongest cup of joe. Strong isn't just a drink, it's a movement. It stands for striving to reach our natural greatness.
It's born from one simple need: to be better. They rebuilt coffee from the ground up, infusing organic coffee with collagen, protein, nootropics, and functional ingredients that fuel your body and sharpen your mind. No crash, no compromises, just clean energy, focus, and flavor that fires you up.
Yeah, so whether you're chasing kids, chasing goals, or chasing greatness, don't just do it with coffee, do it with strong coffee. And our listeners can save 20% off just by using our code INFOGO at checkout. Hey, if you're looking for your favorite band or sports team or TV show, check out Old Glory. They've been in operation since 1969 and they have over 300,000 items. They have from the Beatles all the way to Metallica, NFL, NBA. It really doesn't matter what you're looking for. They have tees, hoodies, hats, gifts, everything a true fan could ever want. And it's family owned and operated. They have fast shipping, free standard delivery on every order. And you know what? Our listeners get a 15% off at checkout using our code INFOGO. You can find the link in the show notes.